Sir, should we start?
Ma'am, should we start now? Ma'am, Pratima ma'am? Yes.
Sure, sir, sure. I am ready
Yeah.
from my end.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to an exciting day of our AI/ML for IoT workshop. Before we dive into the enriching session lined up for today, let's take a moment to explore some of the latest trends and advancement in the world of AI and IoT. As technology continues to evolve, so do the realms of artificial intelligence and the Internet of Things. We have witnessed remarkable achievements in AI algorithms, making systems smarter, more adaptive, and capable of handling complex tasks with ease. Moreover, the seamless integration of AI and IoT devices is revolutionizing various industries, from healthcare to manufacturing, and even transforming the way we live and work. In recent times, AI-enabled IoT systems have played a pivotal role in optimizing energy consumption, enhancing productive maintenance, and bolstering cybersecurity measures. The convergence of AI and IoT is opening new possibilities that were once considered as futuristic. With this exciting backdrop of the latest development, let's now look back at the incredible learning experience from the last week. During week one of our workshop, we embarked on an enriching journey through the fundamentals of AI, ML, and IoT. We explored how AI and ML algorithms work, the different types of AI systems, and their real world applications, from AI driven smart homes to data driven decision making. The sessions were packed with invaluable knowledge and practical examples. Now, let's move on to today's session where we'll dive deeper into some cutting edge technologies. We have two brilliant speakers lined up who are experts in their respective fields and will be sharing their unique insights with us. Today, we have the privilege of hearing from an estimated speaker with a remarkable academic background. Please welcome Dr. Pratima Kalyankar ma'am, an MTech in digital systems and a PhD holder in electronics. With 19 years of teaching experience, ma'am is an expert in embedded system and image processing with a research focus on signal processing. They are a valuable member of IST, contributing significantly to the academic community. On behalf of IETE Pune chapter, RBG's Birds Engineering Academy, and Civic Incubation Center, let's warmly welcome Dr. Pratima Kalyankar ma'am as they share their insights with us today. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Just I will share the screen and kindly check whether it is visible or not.
Yeah. Okay.
I have shared the entire screen itself so that it will be easy for switching.
Yeah.
Okay. Is the screen visible and the slides moving?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Thank you, sir. So, good evening, one and all. Myself, Dr. Pratima Kalyankar, welcome you for the day 6 first session today from the 1 month IET AI/ML for IoT workshop. The points that we will be covering today are just uh, in 1 or 2 minutes, we will cover what you need to understand to merge the AI and IoT so that it will be easier for all of us to move or switch from the IoT and how you will be applying the AI concepts into the IoT. So, as we all are aware with IoT refers to the wide and the assemblage of the physical devices, and the platform that IoT is going to generate for us as a researcher is it collects the information, it transmits the information, and now onwards we have the major role of contributing in the development of some sort of intelligence that is required, that is analysis and the prediction part which is remaining now. Already the work has been started with in collaboration with the artificial intelligence. We know that the three important steps the user is going to play in the AI is nothing but we are learning something, we are asking some questions, and we are interpreting and taking the appropriate decisions. That is basic use of or understanding of what I understand as the artificial intelligence. Now we all know that IoT has broad usage from security, privacy, smart cities, various wearable devices, blockchains, industrial automation. Everywhere nowadays IoT is being used. So let us move faster so that we can focus on what we are interested to work on today. So as per the survey from Government of India, you can just have a glimpse that how the IoT market has captured and in each and every city of the India, which is focused on the various points on the map. These are the various connectives, variables where the intelligence is going to play a major role. Now the moving from the plain IoT, which is from my point of view is collection of information, and there should be someone who will be taking the decision on the same. And the concept of machine learning comes into the picture here. As we know, machine learning is basically a computer program set to learn from the experience E with respect to some task T and some performance measures P. If its performance on the task as measured by P improves with the experience. So as we have seen, the three important terms related to the machine learning we can understand from this particular thing is estimate the desired things, learn from the experiences, and cross check the system that you have developed is working properly or not. Am I audible clearly?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You are audible clearly. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So two trends I have just compared without using IoT and with using IoT. So in traditional programming, what we are trying to do is we are collecting the data and we are just forwarding it for the further analysis. We are not taking any decisions as such if a particular situation arises over here. But whenever we embed IoT and machine learning together, we are observing that we are applying some algorithms over here so that whatever the inputs you are accepting from the sensors, from huge amount of data collected by multiple sensors, depending on that, you will be generating the appropriate decisions. That is the main difference we can observe between our traditional and machine learning approaches included in the IoT. Like example we have taken that if I want to have a system for human activity detection, priorly I was just collecting the information, I was checking the position of the individual, and just I was supposed to transmit the data with the IoT and further processing need to be done. But whenever you are having some machine learning approaches, you are working and the model that you will be developing helps you a lot to take the quick and fast decisions. So these are some glimpses of what basically machine learning algorithm does. A simple example I have demonstrated here. You have combination of the fruits like apples and the bananas. So the first algorithm in machine learning we are considering is a regression. Suppose a statement which is given to us is how to estimate the price of a fruit if the freshness in days is given to us. So that statement is I have to estimate the price of the fruit. So you have data collected from the various fruit markets, and now we are supposed to decide the freshness and the price from the same. So there will be some analysis that you have to plot. On x-axis we have taken it as freshness, on y-axis you have taken it as its price. Fresh the fruit is, the price is going to increase. It means we are now supposed to identify is there any relationship between, any pattern between the freshness of the fruits and the price you are supposed to pay for that. So this technique we call it as a regression analysis type of machine learning algorithm, that is regression. So the same we have demonstrated over here, that you have input as your training data, you have objective to develop the relationship between the two variables that we consider, that is variable x and variable y, and the output will be in the form of the price you are supposed to pay for the fruit. So this will be the flow, how as an engineer I am supposed to follow some steps to develop a particular algorithm. So if a unknown fruit which is having some percentage of freshness is given to you, which is not available in your database, you are predicting the price of the same. So this is what is demonstrated, that unknown variable is given to you and you are estimating the appropriate price based on the price. The second type of algorithms that machine learning goes into is nothing but the classification of the objects. Here we have classified it, that how to, you have a problem statement given to us, that how to identify where a given fruit is fresh. If freshness is not more than 50 days or it is less than 50 days. So you are supposed to categorize now data if it is having freshness less than 50 days or having freshness greater than 50 days. So here you are supposed to make a group of the objects into two classes separately. So here the group of algorithms will be playing a major role. This is an application, we call it as classification. So this is what is shown. You are supposed to find out some pattern so that you can categorize into, say, fruits are fresh below 50 days and now the freshness is getting reduced. This is a second class you can also. So that is what the algorithm always you will be supposed to follow. Accept the inputs from the user or the IoT devices, sensors, have some objective and generate the required output as per our requirement. So if an unknown value is given to us, we should be, the algorithm that you will be developing should be capable of identifying whether it is having freshness less than 50 or having freshness greater than 50. The next category of algorithms is playing a role that is nothing but called as my clustering algorithm. So what I understand by clustering, like whenever you are going to buy something from the market, you make some bunches. So here which is shown is I have to make a clusters having similar features, like having a shape of half moon shape, having a color yellow, I will be putting into one group. You have another group having a shade of pink. So depending on the similarities, you will be dividing them into two bunches. So that is the third category of machine learning algorithms that we will be looking after, that is clustering algorithms. The same approach we are supposed to follow. What is a pattern which is being followed by group 1 and what is a pattern being followed by group 2. So you will be making them into two separate groups. So based on what is the base of machine learning algorithms, the classification is done as supervised machine learning and unsupervised machine learning. What are the details that we will go through slowly? So these are subcategories of various algorithms which are playing a major role as into the two categories. Like some of the students are inherently intelligent, so they do not require any guidance, any supervisor. Likewise, if no base is required for writing the machine learning algorithms, you do not require any training data. In that case, it is called as supervised. If you require any support, classification based on you have some test bench available with you, then the algorithm is called as your unsupervised. It is not requiring anything, it is requiring some sort of supervision. So in the supervised machine learning algorithms, you have decision tree, famous algorithms, nearest neighbors, regression, and some classification algorithms. Likewise, in unsupervised, you have clustering, some dimensionality reduction, or some association rules are also available over here. So these are the examples. In the last week, you might have gone through. You have smart homes as an application of IoT. These are some major components available in the IoT that I require as a platform: sensor technology, communication technology, some algorithm to make it intelligent, and human interface through which you will be accepting and generating the required outputs. So this is what we do to embed my machine learning with the IoT. I have the data with me now. Based on the data, I process the data. I find out some parameters. I apply some algorithms. I develop the model. And this particular model is going to give me the prediction based on the objectives that I have set. So this is nothing but the start of new era, we can say, where I am now including the intelligence with the sensor inputs that you are getting. So what are the advantages you can observe? Decreases the cost of CPU, memory utilization, convergence of IT and operational technology is getting enhanced. We can take the faster decisions, work on the big data and the cloud. It decreases the cost of transmission because we can take the decisions at the same node where the sensors signal is getting generated, or you can have the increased efficiency in terms of everything: cost, time consumption, and all. So here comes the various application areas just to have introduction, that is industrial manufacturing, smart cities, smart homes, wearable everywhere now. With the introduction of 5G in India, we are moving from plain IoT to AIoT. So we should understand now what is AIoT and what are the requirements of AIoT. So as you can observe in the picture, the robust combination of AI and IoT is coming into the market, and it is termed as AIoT. So combining the learning with the IoT, that is, the machines are generating some signals. Along with the machines, we are introducing in it some brain to think on the parameters and take the appropriate decisions. This concept, we can say, we are trying to embed the intelligence in the system. So as a role of AI, where I am supposed to work on, your IoT devices are going to generate the data. We call it as the raw sensory data that you will be getting. You need to formulate this data, convert the data into technically what we can say is information by processing some operations, so that I will get some meaningful information from that. Based on the information, I will be applying my knowledge. I will be deciding, is there any particular pattern being followed, and from the knowledge and the wisdom, I will be generating the required actionable intelligence. So these are the 4 steps we can observe through which your AIoT is going to proceed. So union of artificial intelligence and IoT has given rise to a powerful technology which we are naming it as your AIoT. So which will give the machines ability to think independently and make their decisions without any human guidance. So human interference, the problems due to the human interference will be getting reduced day by day. So what I require to develop the AIoT? The 3 major platforms I require are some algorithms which will be generating the decisions, the network strong which will be interacting with the sensors and transmitting the data, and there should be some media where this big data need to be handled. And all these 3 inputs combined with IoT is going to give rise to your AIoT. So AIoT in 5G networks will be giving us the high speed internet and the necessity for actual real time data processing. One problem challenge the industry may be facing is the data collection, that is big data. So in sensors that are being used in the IoTs are going to generate huge volume of data which need to be processed. So where to store the data and how much data we need to store need to be decided. So that is what is the combination of AI and IoT is going to give the rights. So with this basic of what I understand as advanced IoT, let us look at now what is the role of AI or what are the essentials of AI whenever you will be embedding it with the IoT. So we will be now concentrating on what will be the design steps which are required for development of any machine learning algorithm which we need to apply for the inputs that you will be getting. So as you have the intelligence to be developed, some algorithm need to be developed. It consists of 7 major steps we have classified. The first step is collecting the information. The IoT is going to play the role of the same. The second step that you have preparing the data, detailed steps we are going to study in detail. Third step is what model is suitable for the type of data you will be getting from the IoT. Fourth step is how to train my model. Fifth step I am supposed to think on is evaluating the model. Sixth step is fine tuning of the model, which is called as parameter tuning. Seventh step is nothing but making the appropriate decisions. So let us go one by one. If I want to have some applications of developing the algorithm as car name, color, age, speed, auto pass. These are the inputs that I will be getting from the user. And based on these inputs, I have to decide which age group of the students, people are preferring a particular type of car or preferring a particular type of color of car or what is the age group and the speed with which they are driving a particular vehicle. So depending on the application you are developing the algorithm, the inputs from the sensors you will be collecting. So based on the inputs that we will be collecting, the inputs can be categorized from algorithm development point of view into the three categories. The three categories you can observe, the inputs can be in the form of numerical values, the inputs can be in the form of categorical values, or it can be in the form of ordinal values. So what I understand by the terms numerical, categorical, or ordinal, let us understand. Numerically, suppose your sensor is giving you body temperature, your sensor is giving you the pulse rate. So some numerical value you will be getting it as input. Categorical is the string related values where I am getting the information of collecting the information from a region where how many number of males, how many number of females I am getting. So some values are coming under the section that is categorical. The third range is nothing but ordinal values where along with the categorical, you are trying to make some grading among them that in the age 0 to 15, in the age 15 to 30, in the age 30 to 45 onwards. So you are classifying again the categories into some orders you are supposed to place. That is the third category of data you may get. So based on this, that is what is the numerical data. The data can be again the type of sensor you will be using may generate the discrete data or it may generate the continuous data. Suppose you are supposed to develop an application for traffic light controlling. traffic light controlling, where I am supposed to count the number of cars passing by. So the data generated will be obviously counting in the form of discrete. I am supposed to monitor some parameters in the industry continuously. So the data you will be generating can be a continuous in nature. Why it is significant to understand what type of data I will be getting? Based on the type of data you are accepting as an input, you are getting as an input, you will going to decide what model you are supposed to use for that particular application. So by knowing the data type of your data source, you will be able to know what technique you are supposed to use for analyzing them. Next step that you have is called as pre-processing the data. Some questions before analyzing any data you will be collecting from the IoT sensors, you should ask how tangential is the human error. So if data collected or labeled by the humans, you should check a subset of the data and estimate how often the mistakes are happening. If the data collected is, say, some numerical values, whether the values are having the appropriate ranges. So whether there are any technical problems when transferring the data. Suppose you are working on a hybrid network, the protocol that your network is going to follow, the formatting your network is going to follow, and the format which is followed by other networks may be different. So are there any technical know-how required to exchange the information? Need to be discussed. How many omitted values does your data have? Sometimes what happens is whenever there is collection of data and data becomes huge, there may be some missing values available. So whether the values are omitted, available, need to be kept one thought of. Other questions you have to ask is your data adequate for your task? Whether the data collection of 100 is sufficient, 10,000 is sufficient, 1 lakh is sufficient, because based on the input data, I have to decide further what algorithm I am supposed to apply. And is your data balanced or imbalanced? One more thought you should keep into consideration. The third step comes next is choosing the appropriate model. So knowing what you want to predict will help you to decide what is the model that I am supposed to check on. So when formulating the problem, we should conduct the data exploration and try to think in the categories of classification, whether my problem statement that I am supposed to develop the model is under the category classification, whether it is under the category of clustering, whether it is coming under the classification category regression or ranking, need to be put on the white paper, and then I should choose the appropriate model for the same. So this is the glimpses of what I am supposed to do as a classification, what I am supposed to do as clustering. Already we have discussed these points, so we will go a bit fast. What I am supposed to do as a regression, and last category, that is what I am supposed to do as a ranking. The next step, once you decide the model, is training the model. Now here we can say the input available is the raw data. You are supposed to give this information to your model. You are supposed to develop the model, take the appropriate decisions. If the selection of algorithm that you have done is correct, the input information that you are processing is correct, you will be developing a good model. But if there is something goes wrong, there should be some feedback available so that the model can be trained properly. Give more inputs, train the model, check whether it is appropriate generating the output. Again, the closed loop need to be followed. So that is what is nothing but called as my training model. 1,000 samples are being given. More and more iterations your algorithm goes through, and you are supposed to train the model. Now, the step one available in the training is begin with whatever existing data you have and start tuning your model, start developing your model. Now, the second step that you have is analyze the data to identify whether the data is following any pattern. So unlike the conventional software development where the humans are responsible for interpreting the large data with machine learning, you can apply the machine algorithm to the data, but do not think you are off the hook. Choose appropriate algorithms based on what category of data, that is in first step it is playing a major role. What type of input I am getting, whether my input is analog, whether my input is digital, what will be the further steps that you have to take into consideration, and then you will be choosing the model. Then explore the solutions. You have multiple options available, various programming languages available, you have various tools available online. Nowadays libraries are huge, so you will be appropriately choosing from the available commercial and the open source resources that for my particular application, I should proceed with what type of development algorithm. See, all the algorithms will have, all the platforms that you will be using will have some strengths, some weaknesses. So what is your demand? You should think from the point of view and you will be choosing the appropriate platform. After you train the model, it starts predicting. It is going to generate some sort of output. So after making the predictions, you have to think from the point of view that whether the classification that you are doing is a binary classification, whether the regression takes a lot of different data with the different weights of importance and analysis, all the things need to be taken into consideration. So regression and classification are both coming under the supervised type of algorithms. So one form of unsupervised algorithm we have seen is nothing but our clustering. So more the data you have, more algorithm you need to play rigorously so that you will be developing the appropriate model for the same. So to train the machine learning model, we have to perform the following steps, that is input the training data source, name the data attributes that contains the target to be predicted, transform the data from one type to another type if necessary, and training parameters need to be controlled in the learning phase of the algorithm. What I understand by the training. The training nowadays has become very simple with the various inbuilt libraries based on the application that you will be developing. But we should put an emphasis on the following points that we have mentioned, that is maximum model size, maximum number of passes your training data is going to go through, whether you are shuffling the order of the data which is being used by your training model, how much regularization type you are trying to use, and what is the amount of regularization you are playing. So once the model is ready based on the parameters that you have selected, you need to evaluate that particular model, that whether it has generated the appropriate result. So there are various parameters based on what you will be evaluating the models. We have listed out some parameters commonly being used to evaluate the models, that is confusion matrix. You have accuracy, you can evaluate in terms of precision, you can evaluate in terms of recall, specificity, F1 score, precision recall curve, or receiver operating characteristics, ROC plots also you can plot. So we will not be able to go into the details of each and every evaluation parameter due to the time constraint, but we have listed out the various evaluating parameters once you develop the model. So one parameter we are just going to look into, that is you are plotting the confusion matrix. So these are your actual readings and these are your predicted readings in row wise. So you will be getting the four divisions of your set as you are observing it as true positive, you have true negative, false negatives, and false positives. Like how you will be categorizing them into, you have the database of patient, for example, say the patients are cancer patients, for example. So you got the data, it is having identified as cancer, and actually the patient is having cancer. In that case, we are calling it as true positive. You are getting a data without cancer. Your algorithm is also saying that the patient has is not cancerous. Then in that case, you are considering it as the true negative points. You are considering the patient which is actual patient is non-cancerous, but your algorithm is telling that the patient is having cancer. Then it is called as my false positive. The last is patient is not having cancer actually, but your algorithm has classified it, misclassified it, having a cancer, but it is detecting it as not having the cancer. So it is called as my false negative cases. So based on these parameters, this is what is called as my confusion matrix, where diagonal is giving me the values of true positive, that is cancer and non-cancerous cases, and the off diagonal elements are giving me the false cases. So after this, you need to fine tune the developed algorithm, what is called as my parameter tuning. So under the section of parameter tuning, what I am supposed to do is I have to split the data into two, that is training and testing. I will be selecting the algorithm. Whenever you will be using any programming language for algorithm development, there are some libraries, packages available, inbuilt functions available, and the every algorithm has some parameters, predefined values, and these are nothing but called as my hyperparameters. So based on your application, your requirement, you may be changing the values, default values available in the algorithm. And what this is nothing but called as is hyperparameter tuning. Once you update the parameter values, your algorithm will be called as, this phase is nothing but called as my training of the algorithm. And once you train the model, then you will be going for the final model development, and you will be repeating it step 3 and step 4 again and again, so that your fine tuned algorithm will be available for the reuse. So select some other set of hyperparameters and tune your algorithm. Cross-validate it again and calculate the new scores, the points that we have considered. Apply the confusion matrix. Check whether you are rigorously getting the appropriate results or not. And once the model is developed, then make it take the appropriate predictions of the same. So these are the top machine learning algorithms which are being used, that is linear regression, logistic regression, LDA, classification and regression of trees, Nebes algorithm, K-means algorithm, you have LVQ, that is learning vector quantization, you have support vector machines. All these are under the category machine learning. Nowadays, the algorithms which are coming into the picture are related to CNN, that is convolutional neural network. One algorithm we will be going into the details is nothing but linear regression. Sir, how much time is left with me so that I will be going with the speed?
Time is there. Within 20 minutes are there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what I understand by the term linear regression, basically it is interpreting some value if the waveform that I have to put it into, the pattern I have to set it into. Basically, linear regression works on the machine learning. This is a type of machine learning algorithm based on the numerical values. So linear regression is perhaps one of the most well-known and well-understood algorithms in the statistics and your machine learning. So basically, it is a predictive modeling, and it is trying to interpret based on the values what will be the future value for a particular application. So the representation of linear regression, we can say, as the name indicates, it is linear, means I am supposed to fit a equation of a line. That is why the name given to this particular algorithm is a linear regression model. So best fitting line I am supposed to find out. Depending on that, I will be getting a relationship between my input variable x and my output variable y. As we know, the equation of a line is nothing but y is equal to mx plus c. That is what is written over here, that y is equal to, this is your mx plus you have a constant c. So we are trying to fit the appropriate line based on the huge data I will be getting. And I'm trying to check now whether the predicted output and the actual output, is there any error. So these are the residues, we can say, calculated for each and every point available by taking the difference between my actual output and my predicted output. And your tuning of the model is reducing these amount of errors. Residues are also called as the errors. So keep on reducing the difference between the actual values and the predicted values. That is what we are trying to do as a part of your linear regressor. So this is what the equation that we are supposed to fit. Y is equal to B0 plus B1 multiplied by X, where Y is my output and X is my input variable. So we will predict Y given the input X, and the goal of the linear regression learning algorithm is to find the values of your coefficients B0 and B1 so that the errors which are being available will be minimum. The different techniques can be used to learn the linear regression model from the data. Basically, linear algebra solutions for your ordinary least square method or gradient descent optimizations are being used for checking whether the error is getting reduced, or till what your algorithm need to go through various iterations, one iteration by one iteration. So there should be some checks that how much error my algorithm can reduce and how much iterations my algorithm has to go through. So this is one example that we have taken into consideration is the linear regression. The second algorithm that we will be discussing today is nothing but my decision tree. Just give me 1 minute.
Okay.
So these various algorithms we have seen. This chart will now tell you what particular algorithm you can use based on the various categories. Okay. So if you observe the first vertical column of supervised learning, if my inputs, that is inputs and outputs, are of a particular category, one is your continuous target variable and categorical target variable. So if my input outputs are continuous in nature, I will be going for the type of algorithms that is regression. If my inputs outputs are categorical, then I will be going under the section of classification. Now, in case of unsupervised, if my target variable is not available, that is a category where I will be having an unsupervised learning. So I will be going for clustering or I will be going for association. In case of semi-supervised learning, you have categorical as the type of data input output. In that case, you will be going for classification or you will be going for cluster. The another category of machine learning algorithms are nothing but reinforcement learning. So in the reinforcement learning also, I will be getting classification and control based on whether my target is categorical or my target variable is not available. So what your IoT is going to give you input, you should put one eye on that, whether it is continuous, whether it is discrete, whether it is categorical data. So based on all these factors, you will be choosing the appropriate type of algorithm for your best applications. We have listed out below in this particular slide itself. If my application is so and so, what type of algorithm you can apply. So these are, we can say, the various applications where your IoT need to be embedded with your machine learning or AI. So supervised machine learning algorithms are classified as classification and regression. And now the decision tree that we will be discussing is coming under the category of supervised learning and regression type of modeling. So that is the classification where my decision tree algorithm fits into the picture. So here, what I understand by a decision tree is it is basically a graphical representation, as you can observe, of all possible solutions for taking an appropriate decision. So decisions are based on some conditions and made it is easy. So if I have question for simple, we have considered, am I angry? Am I hungry? Sorry. So I will be getting two outputs, yes or no. So if I am hungry, I am supposed to eat something. So I should know what balance is available in my pocket. So based on how much is the balance available on in my packet, I should choose where I am supposed to go for my lunch or dinner. So if it is above some dollars or below some dollars, I will be choosing the appropriate path. So as you can observe, the decision tree is going to generate a type of structure that is nothing but the tree structure, that you have the root, and from the root you are generating some stems, and the steps are at the end reaching to the top of the tree, that is nothing but called as my leaves. Advanced version of decision tree, we are observing the algorithm that is nothing but my random forest. Now, what is the base of random forest? As the name indicates, it is random forest. It indicates that it is trying to combine the multiple effects. So you have types of trees available in the forest. So it doesn't mean that you will be using the same fundamental concepts. The concepts can be different, and you are trying to merge all those trees and making a random forest. So random decision forests correct for the decision trees habits for overfitting to their training set. So the in this case, the trend is nothing but done by the bagging method. The next category of supervised learning algorithm comes into the picture is nothing but my knee base. The base of knee base algorithm is based on a statistician, that is Bayes theorem, you may have studied in the probability. The base of knee Bayes algorithm is basically probability. So here we have seen a case, consider a case that biomedical application is available, whether a disease has occurred or disease has not occurred. So you have a probability of 10% and 90%. So this is a start of knee-based algorithm, and further you will be dividing it into true positive, true negative, false positive, and false negative. Other supervised algorithm which is coming into the picture is k nearest neighbors. So you are trying to categorize here the various data sets collections into the number of clusters. So K is your kth nearest neighbor algorithm, where K decides how many neighbors you are supposed to cross check. So into the details now we will go with the decision tree. So basically, representing the concepts of decision tree require the information of two parameters, that is entropy and the information gain. This is the base of decision tree, we can say, where depending on the calculations of the entropy and the information gain, you will be developing the decision tree, developing the appropriate model for the same. So that is what is another example we have taken into consideration, that how much is the salary I am getting. The start of the algorithm in the decision tree is nothing but called as my root node. And based on the root node, you will be going to whether you will be working 1 hour extra or you are supposed to decline that particular offer. So depending on that, if you decide you want to have additional efforts to be taken, so what you will be like to have, whether you will accept the coffee or you will accept something different, tea, etc. So likewise, the decision tree is going to develop. So what are the basic terminologies that I am supposed to use in the decision tree? You have parent node, the concept child node. So the start where your algorithm does is nothing but called as my root node, where you will be starting the running of your algorithm. And from the root node, you will be developing the branches, and those are nothing but called as my parents and your child nodes. So root node is the parent node and all other nodes are branched from your parent, and these are called as my child nodes. Once you go on dividing the stems, generating the respective nodes, this process is nothing but called as my splitting, which is dividing the actual root node into the basic sub nodes, and it is going to develop the detailed algorithm. One stream or one stem is nothing but called as my branch or subtree. It is formed basically by splitting of your parent node or the child. The last part, which cannot be further divided, we can say is nothing but my leaf node. So this cannot be further divided into again subcategories. So this is an example that we have taken, whether the age is less than 15, if yes, whether it is male or female. So this is how you will be developing the decision tree. Okay. So we will have just a hands-on session on the algorithm so that it will be more clearer. So can I continue, sir, for 5 minutes?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You can continue. You can continue.
Okay, sir. Just give me 1 minute. I will just
Yeah,
open
yeah,
the.
yeah. Okay, okay. Participants are requested to put their query in the chat box. If necessary, we'll turn on your microphone also. But don't hesitate to put your queries for proceed. Put in the chat box. I think Kalpana has kept something, so ma'am will take that query also. So, so without hesitation, you can put your queries over there.
Okay. So one model we will just look at, that whenever you will be developing the models, what are the basic steps you need to do? I am using here the platform of Python and the appropriate libraries that you will be requiring. Assuming that you have some basic knowledge of what the use of particular package is, that is pandas is used for importing and exporting of the various types of files. Matplotlib Is the screen visible to you all and the font is okay?
Yeah, everything is okay. Everything is okay, ma'am. Go ahead.
Okay, sir. So you will be importing the required files. The matplotlib is basically a package which is used for displaying the various types of graph, that is visualization in 2 dimensions. If I want to do, I will be going with the matplotlib. If I want to visualize my data in the 3D form, I will be using another package, that is Seaborn. Some analysis I have to perform on the arrays. So I will be required, sorry, I will be requiring a package, that is NumPy in between. So once you get the data from the IoT, you will be saving into the some files. Let us assume it is available in some CSV file. So the first step is capturing the data. So once I capture the data, I will be able to get the data into the programming language that you are using. So the commands which we will be using is reading the CSV file, which is available in a package pandas. So once you read the file, now as a developer, we should know what is available in the file. Not the actual data, but at least we should know how the data looks. What are the different columns available in the data? For that, you can run a command that you will display what are the various columns, what will be the data type available in each column, so that now you can put a thought on whether any pre-processing is required on the data, what type of data you are getting, whether it is categorical data, numerical data, string data, etc. So for that you will be running a command, that is df.head, which will display you the further columns available in your data. Now, as we mentioned, we should ask questions to us that whether that data is sufficient or not, because there will be huge data you will be collecting. So how much information I have with me, the information can be checked with the command, that is df.shape. It indicates that I have 30 rows and the 2 columns available in my data. I will be working with the column names further. So I should know what are the titles available for the columns. So that can be displayed with a command, that is df.columns, where I will be getting the names, appropriate names, that is years of experience and the salary that you will be getting. After you know the column headings, now you will be plotting it to visualize whether it is following some pattern or not. So here we have done it with the help of matplotlib. You have some inbuilt functions available over there, like x label, y label, title. You are putting some grids so that you can cross check the pattern which is being followed. So we have here plotted a scatter plot for the experience and the salary. So once I plot the graph, now you can visualize that my data is following certain pattern. So you are observing that it is following some linear relationship, that your variable y and variable x are following some linear relationship. So now this is the first visualization impression that you are getting, that yes, in this particular model, I can fit a linear model. For this, it is following some linear pattern. So I will be using the linear model for the development. So you are now separating your columns. One column, you are considering it as input. Another column, you are considering it as output. So you have separated now your columns into X and Y. Then every algorithm requires, remember, every algorithm requires some pre-processing to be done. So I have to reshape my data, and in the range of -1 to 1. That is what we are trying to do. As per the requirement of the algorithm, I have to convert my data into the appropriate ranges. So once I convert the data into the appropriate ranges, now I'm supposed to develop a model. For that, Python, I have a library, that is scikit-learn. From that, you will be going for the model selection. You are importing the subpart of that. You are dividing your actual data into the 2 sections, that is training and testing. So both your input as well as output, you are categorized into 2. And you are, see, these are nothing but called as my hyperparameters. So I am supposed to experiment on this, that how much should be my test size, how much should be my what should be the value that you will be assigning for the random state. And based on these parameters, as we are observing currently the simple algorithm, that is linear regression, the hyperparameters in this case are very less. So once you divide it into the training and testing, you will be supposed to observe what is the percentage of the training section you have done and what is the percentage of testing section you have done. So in the training you have considered 22 samples, and in the testing you have considered 8 samples of your input. So once you divide your data into the training and testing, now you should have some model to be asked for. So from your scikit-learn package, you will be using a model that is linear model, and from that you want to develop a linear equation, that is linear regression is an inbuilt function which will be available. So you are calling that function in the form of object, and you are giving the name as your regressor. Once you hold it into the particular object, then you will be training the model. So you should pass your inputs and the outputs. You have classified it into X train and Y train. So you are calling the inbuilt function dot fit. By passing your input known values for this particular input, I know this is my appropriate output. So you are trying to develop the model of the same. So just I am running it so that the model fitting is complete. And how much, as it is a linear regression, you will be getting the coefficients as your output, that this is your b0 and b1 that you should take into consideration, and then the intercept, that is a coefficient and the intercept that you are getting. So you should have the x test section remaining, that is y test remaining. And now you should predict what will be if I give my input as my unknown value, because you have trained your model based on the training data, that what input I have and what output is known to me. So unknown value I need to give as input, so that whether it is predicting appropriately or not should be checked. So I will be giving X test as my input, and I will be generating the predicted value. So this is what is the prediction, that if my X is having some value, what my model is going to give me the appropriate results. So you have the Y test as your output, and Y predicate is the algorithm predicted output. So I need to compare it. So you have the data type available in the Pandas, that is called as data frame. So you have made your predicted and the actual in one data frame available, and you are trying to compare whether you are getting the appropriate results or not. So as we mentioned, whether the algorithm that you have developed is generating the correct results or not, there should be some analysis points. So you have concepts of accuracy, then you have R2 score. So different parameters are available based on which you can decide whether the model that you have developed is generating the appropriate results. So this is the part of fine tuning again and giving some appropriate feedbacks to your algorithm. Then you have prediction by giving some random values other than the test. So whether you are generating the appropriate outputs, you have to take into consideration. So if you plot your predicted value and the algorithm that you have developed, you will be getting the exact fitting of your algorithm. So whether it is properly done or not, you have different parameters to be tuned, that is mean absolute error calculation you can do. So there are different inbuilt functions available in the matrices package in the scikit-learn. From that you can cross check whether the model that you have fit is perfectly fitting the requirement of not or not. So you have another parameter available, that is absolute percentage error you can calculate of the model, and based on what is the loss factor available, what is margin available, you can decide whether the algorithm that you have developed is appropriate or not. So this is a simple example that I wanted to demonstrate. That's all from my end. If you have any queries, I'm open for the question answer session. Thank you.
Madam, in chat box, Kalpana, one query is there. Something.
Okay, sir.
Yes, participants can put their queries in the chat box. Kalpana Kumbhar.
Okay. So there is one question that is, what is hyperparameter that they want to have a glimpse of?
Yeah.
Kalpana, as I mentioned that whenever I have say linear regression, I have an equation of a line. Just I will put whether the screen is visible to you all.
Yeah. Screen is visible. Yeah.
So from linear regression point of view, my hyperparameters will be finding the appropriate coefficients B0 and B1. Okay. So I should find the values so accurate of B0 and B1 that my prediction and the actual model will give me the least error. That is the concept. That is nothing but the hyperparameter. So depending on what algorithm you are trying to develop, the set of default values, the equations, mathematical equations, the coefficients of the same are going to vary. Like you may change the batch size, whether you want the training and testing proportion need to be changed, whether you will be changing the data available in the training also. All parameter tuning is nothing but called as the basic concept hyperparameters. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah. Anyone else, if you want to talk something also, you can put it in the chat box. We'll turn on your microphone also. Participants can put it without hesitation if they want to say something. So she's saying thank you, ma'am. Yeah.
Welcome.
So anyone else, if you want to say something, some cross validation is something, one query is there. We'll take one last query, ma'am.
Yes.
Uh,
See,
Umera Banu.
yes, sir. See, students, whenever you are developing the model, you have divided them into training and testing data. Okay. But whenever you are dividing the data into training and testing, the total 100% data that you have, whether you are using same 70% data for the training, or you are also shuffling the training data also. This concept is nothing but called as my cross validation. That if your algorithm knows that for these 70 data samples, I have some particular output, and your algorithm is developed, okay, it is giving you 99.99%. But what about the 10% you have left out as testing? So whether you are including those 10 also in the training is nothing but cross validation. So training, if shuffling is done, we call it as cross validation actually.
Oh, Dr. Nitin is also saying very nice session, ma'am. I am also very much thankful to you by finding your valuable time again and sharing beautiful explanation of algorithms different. So we are so much thankful to you on behalf of the participant as well as IETE Pune Center, Birds Engineering Academy and Civic Center. Over to Krishna.
Heartfelt thank you to ma'am for an enlightening session. Your expertise has fully inspired us all. We appreciate your valuable contribution and look forward for more enriching sessions in our AML for IoT workshop. Thank you, ma'am. So our next speaker needs no introduction in the tech industry. Please give a warm welcome to Sham Sundar sir, a seasoned senior project manager at Thoucentric Technologies. With an impressive track record of leading successful projects and a wealth of expertise in the field, sir is driving force behind cutting edge innovations. We are delighted to have them with us today. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, Shyam sir, welcome. Go ahead, sir.
Hello, all. Good evening.
Yeah,
I know
go ahead,
it's
sir.
a
Go ahead,
Monday
sir.
evening. It would be more. I won't bore with my session. So I have some interesting topics today.
Yeah.
Let's have the session more interactive. So I want you guys to open the chat window side by side so that we'll have the session interactive. And as a product, if whoever answer more question, I'll send you some deal.
Yeah, participants should put questions, queries.
Questions, yes.
If necessary, we'll turn on your microphone also individual. Please put if you want to say something. Yeah. Go ahead, sir.
I hope you guys are able to see my screen.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, I know you guys have, over the past week, you might have heard about AI, data, ML, IoT, and a lot. But like one thing, like these terms are very trending nowadays. But when it all started, how it started, where it started, that's what we are going to talk about. Before going into that, I'll give a short introduction about me. I'm Shyam, and I'm currently working as a senior project manager with Thousand Technologies, Bangalore. Prior to this, I have worked with IBM and CTSA Global. I have a bachelor's in computer science. I do MBA with IU University, Germany, and I hold the advanced diploma in big data analytics. Cool. Okay, brief history of AI. Before I start my session, like I want someone to give me a definition of what is AI. You can raise your hands that will be
Yeah, you
unmuted, or
can
you
write
can
in the
type
chat
in
box
the question.
definition what sir is asking. Anyone? Yeah, anyone? Dr. Nitin, Kalpana, Umera Banu, anyone is there? Please go ahead.
Okay, so let me quickly move to the
Yeah.
definitions. There is like no single definition can term what AI is. AI is like we have a different multiple definitions for AI. It's like study of how to make computers do things what people do in a better way, or it is a new efforts that makes computer to think.
Sir, a definition Mrunal has given in the chat box.
Mimic human behavior, yes. Perform daily tasks like human, yes. Human and even better than human. So that is what AI is all about. It gives, it performs, it is meant to perform things that human does in a better way, in simple terms. Okay. So when talking about AI, what do you guys think, which field of study it is about? Under which stream it should fall under? Computer science, electrical, electronics?
Sir, one more definition Soumya has given. I think she has given.
Machine's ability to perform the cognitive functions we usually associate with human needs. Right. Very good. Intelligence machine which deals with will be algorithm. Okay. So now we'll go like what is AI? AI is not, we can't just classify AI into a single stream. So AI is like we can it comes under computer science, it comes under cognitive science, even psychology and philosophy talks about AI. Okay, AI is just a part of science, a part of engineering, a part of everything. So AI, like being a regular computer science engineer and AI engineer has like its own difference. Being an AI expert doesn't mean you should know only computers. It's not like that. Let's take for example, you're being in a medical field and you want to implement a machine that does surgery. For that, you should not like if you don't know medicine, building that would not be possible. Oh, so for doing AI, you should be an expert in other domains as well, so that you can enhance your AI skills to make the domain better. And philosophically speaking, AI is a belief that brain is a form of biological computer, that the mind is computational. And every AI has impact on society, unlike other areas of computer science. AI has very huge impact. Most of the impacts are like mostly unknown to the people. So that's the quick warm up. Now we'll move into the contents, that is the history. Coming to the history, what like we'll classify into 4 different seasons. Okay, that will make you understand better like how when it boomed, when it went down, when it came back again, and when it matured and all. Okay, now one question like what is the season when the flowers bloom? Which season does flowers bloom? It's a simple question, not related to computer. It's a general GK question. Someone answer, no? No one knows which season flowers bloom. Hey, use your chat windows, guys.
Yeah, you can use the chat window for
The simple question.
He is saying something. Yeah, go ahead.
Major Juhi Patel has answered, please. The spring season. So spring is where generally flowers bloom. Typically, when the AI got its birth, so that season will consider its AI spring. Okay, there are three major people who made their mark in giving birth to AI. These people belong to different countries, but almost the same time period. They had the similar ideas, which led to the bringing up of AI. And I think you must be familiar with these names. Sir Isaac Asimov, Alan Turing, Arne Burling, and John McCarthy. We'll leave John McCarthy alone. Let's talk about these three people. The first person, Isaac Asimov. Isaac Asimov is like an American scientist. He actually he is a writer actually. Okay? He published a story called Runaround, where most of the he talked about robotics a lot, and he stated the three laws of robotics. If you guys has watched Rajnikant's movie Endiran Robot, you will know about these laws. Okay, the basic laws of robotics is like a robotic should not injure a human being. The second law is robot should obey whatever human says, except the point number one. And the third point is the robot must protect its existence and should not break the above two laws. And this happened. Isaac Asimov is based out of United States, the US. The other person, Alan Turing. If you guys just watched the movie Imitation Game, you would know what I'm talking about. So Alan Turing is a British mathematician and a scientist. He's based out of United Kingdom, UK, and he published about the computing machinery and intelligence in 1950. And that describe about how to create intelligence missions and test their intelligence. And the same time, one more guy called Arne Burling, he was based out of Sweden, and during the World War II, he deciphered Nazi codes. These three people led to a major breakthrough, and then the actual person who termed the word artificial intelligence is John McCarthy. He is the computer scientist based out of US. He worked in a university called Dartmouth University, and they hosted event, Dartmouth Summer Research Products, and where they collided with the different scientists, different people, different interested minds together, and they termed the Artificial Intelligence Workshop, and that's where the AI came into limelight. So maybe only a few years ago, like people widely started talking about AI, even the commoners. But actually, AI began at 1956. Okay, now we talked about spring, that where AI is born. Now we'll talk about the other seasons. So after spring, what season comes is summer. It is where we call it AI's golden age, between 1956 to 1964. So once the Dartmouth research event went well, the people started thinking about how to utilize AI. There were a lot of research. Everything started. Every government started giving generous funds for AI research. Example is ELISA. ELISA is one of the natural language processing system. You guys have heard about ChatGPT recently, right? ELISA is great grandfather of ChatGPT. That's the first, we could say, chatbot. That was developed by MIT. So similarly, multiple similar things happened during that period. AI was at a very peak and very boom. Every major companies invested a lot in R&D for AI research and development. After this huge boom, AI went down. So it took a lot of time, lot of efforts, and people couldn't fund. There was pressure from political end. opposition parties started questioning the government's involved, like government spending a lot on AI, and there was a lot of criticism that the AI that they were expecting didn't perform well. So then, naturally, the enthusiasm died. Everything went down. We typically call the first AI winter between 74 to 80. There was a huge decline in all the boom that happened the prior years. It gradually went down, literally cut down into pieces, and AI was at the verge of sinking. But one thing what kept AI alive during this winter period is between 19 to 80s, between 80s to 80s to 90s, like people were starting to explore the expert system. Like they research organizations started building the in-house AI departments, and they were exploring the expert systems. And for this, like they got the support from the countries. Like Japan and UK was the most major investors, and even though the overall AI was gradually down, but the certain rise happened during the 1980s to 87 due to expert system. But even that had a failure that got busted, and 87 to 93, they were not able to cope up. They were using a programming language called LIS, and the missions had exclusive LS missions were there to perform the AI modeling and all. And then during these periods, the desktop computer started to perform better than the list system. There were many concerns over the expert system that were building, and gradually this research also stopped. In 92s, Japan was majorly involved in the R&D. They backed out. Similarly, the other areas where people were investing in AI fell down. So literally, every people thought that is the downfall of AI, and no more AI that we could think of in near future. But everything break into a myth during the 93 to 2011. There was like people were trying to optimize AI and bring some useful things to the society. They were like they didn't call it as AI, so that if they call it as AI, then people will not fund it. So they kind of did it in from back, and people started using AI. One major breakthrough happened in 97. IBM has a computer that is called as Deep Blue that has capability to play chess. In 97, there was a chess grandmaster. You should be aware of Gary Kasparov. That IBM's Deep Blue mission bet him. That made everyone talk about AI again. And then every company started coming back, like thinking about the mistakes they have done, and they optimized it. They came back stronger. In 2002, Amazon started providing the recommendations using the AI. And very major breakthrough happened again in 2011, due to which we are in the era of AI and machine learning. What happened in 2011 is two major companies that, one is Apple. It released its Siri. Who are using iPhone, you must be aware of Siri's assistant, and the IBM has their own AI Watson. It defeats the Jeopardy champions. So these two major breakthrough happened in 2011, which again brought to our autumn age, that is the mature age of machine learning. We now have advanced computational power, data deliver access, machine learning. Everything happened during 2011 till now. It is because of what optimization that was done during the lowest period of AI between 1993 to 2011. These are some major breakthroughs or major things that became talk of town. The Turing test done by Alan Turing 1950 that gave rise to AI, and the animate ELIZA in 1964. You could read about all these things. 1999, there was a robot dog that was built called the IO. 2011, Siri and Watson. Similarly, 2014, Alexa, now ChatGPT. There were like numerous breakthroughs which made people get more deeper into AI. So this is a brief history about the AI, how it progressed, how it went up, how it came down, everything. Okay, now we'll see so since we talked about history, we'll talk about the current trends. We'll choose one sector here. There are many sectors where AI plays major role in every industry. You can't imagine any industry without AI, right? May it be health sector, finance sector, data, automatic entertainment, retail. Every sector, AI plays a major role. For instance, now let's take entertainment industry. Okay, now again, question for you guys. You people must have watched movies where AI is put to use. So I want you guys to list down the movies that you watch where AI is a part of. Any movies that is related to AI, ML, or IoT. Come on, guys. You guys watch movies? No one watches movies here.
Yeah, a robot, somebody saying, yeah.
Yes.
Robot movie.
Yeah, that is one good example.
Wall-E.
Yeah, Wall-E, we can call it. Happens in future, right? Black Mirror, I haven't watched. Ravan, yes. Ravan, robot. These things are a blend of AI, ML, IoT. Good guesses. Hollywood movies. Okay. There are a lot of movies that talks about AI, which has the characters related to AI. For example, the Westworld series, Ex Machina, I Robot. There are a lot of movies that talks about. And someone told Wall-E, yeah, we have Wall-E people here. Okay, most people would have watched Avengers. The Iron Man character is Iron Man character is one of the most interesting characters, which has a blend of AI, IoT, and all. Like his Iron Man suit, it's typically an IoT device which is controlled by his AI. Jarvis is just an abbreviation of just a rather very intelligent system. So typically, what Tony Stark does is he builds his natural language computer system. It is an advanced system that he uses it to develop his suit. That system manages his industries. It gives him security. It helps him communicate with other Avengers, right? Cool. Okay. Now we talked about how AI is. We'll talk about entertainment and the movie industry, right? So now coming to the careers or the areas where, as an AI engineer, you could work with. So the major roles or the areas where, as an AI engineer, you could work is first thing is in the VFX and animation part. I hope most of you people know what VFX is. But where AI is used is to enhance, accelerate the visual effects. You could do a realistic character animation, fluid simulations.
Sir, can you put your slide in PPT mode?
Sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hope the text are visible. Right. The other, the virtual production, where AI plays a significant role in the production techniques, such as the motion capture techniques, the augmented reality, the ARs, VRs, these parts. There are post-production and editing where the AI algorithms are used to automate and optimize various aspects. And even for the scripts, once in the story writing parts, people do write scripts and the AI analyze the scripts. It provides insights like whatever the content you have written in the scripts, it's not going to impress your audience. Audience may not like it. There are similar stories already that came out. It gives you market trends. It gives suggestion to improve stories, and at certain point, it even help you to generate dialogues, scenes, even at storylines. It helps you modify it to appeal it in a better way to your audiences. Let's see about another thing is the cinematography and the shot composition. It helps you in placing where the perfect angle for your camera, the shoot composition, where to set up lightings, and it helps you to enhance the visual aesthetics of the film. Other thing is the audience analysis and marketing. To have a movie a hit or make it a box office hit, it should be better marketed. So AI plays an important role in identifying your target audiences. It helps you analyze the audience preferences, your box office performances. It compares the previous movie results, and it gives you a better marketing strategies. Even it markets for you. And the other thing is distribution and streaming optimization. It helps you to do digital restoration and remastering. Let us take sound and music composition. It helps you in generating background scores, sound effects. Sometimes even it helps you, it creates its own musical. So there are a lot of AI tools that are available. And lastly, the AI generated contents. These are various aspects, areas in one industry. Like I didn't take the entire entertainment industry. Instead, I took only a particular movie making industry. Not even I didn't consider the OTT or other platform, just where the actual movie shooting happens. And even there, like you could see a lot of places where AI plays a major role here, right? Now we'll see in these areas how what kind of carriers, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, sir. Go ahead. You are audible. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So now we'll talk about carriers in entertainment industry for AI engineers. What are the roles that you can pursue in entertainment industry as an AI engineer? The first thing, since we talked about VFX, the VFX engineer is one of the roles that you can consider. So what VFX engineer typically does is they develop AI-powered tools and algorithms to create realistic visual effects, animations, simulations, all these things like VFX. When we consider a movie making as a career, the major role that anyone could think of is the VFX engineer. So you could even the animation movies. There are a lot of animation movies and fluid simulations. All these places, VFX engineer plays a role. The next role is virtual production engineer. Virtual production engineer typically contributes to the real-time motion capture techniques, and the VR sets, the virtual sets, the augmented realities, immersive filmmakings, everything. The post-production ML engineer, what he does is he builds AI algorithms to automate and optimize video editing, the color correction, the sound design, and the other post-production processes. Again, another part is like we already discussed about this script analysis and content generation engineer. What he does is he creates AI systems that analyzes scripts. He provides insights. It helps the people to generate dialogue, scenes, storylines, and all. And the cinematography AI engineer, he develops AI tools to suggest creative camera angles, shots, and all. Audience analysis and marketing, we talked about it. Distribution streaming optimization engineer. They do is they design AI solution to optimize content delivery and streaming quality. And the sound and music AI engineer, they develop AI models for generating sound effects. AI engineering content explore new forms of storytelling. Machine learning researcher, what they does is they engage in cutting edge research to develop novel machine learning techniques that can be applied to various film industries and challenges. And ethics and compliance in the sense where these plays important roles when people are in the film industry, they have to adhere to ethical guidelines. There are certain data privacy regulations that each and every country has. So that is where the AI ethics and compliance specialists play a major role. And the technical director or supervisor, these people are typically what they do is they lead the AI development teams. They oversee the implementation of the technologies. They're typically the manager who oversees all the previous roles that we've discussed about. The product manager, they bridge the gap between the technical teams, technical development, film. They coordinate the film production. They define the AI about features and solution that they suggest what a film, what kind of AI technologies that could be implemented to the for the producer or the director. And lastly, the technical consultants, they will provide the expert guidance. They advise film production teams on how to integrate and leverage the AI technologies. AI product manager role is like on a very huge demand right now. If you have seen the news recently, Netflix has hired an AI product manager, and what do you think the salary they afford to do? They afford like almost 7.5 crores to AI product manager, which is very, very, very huge. Not just for AI product managers, all the jobs that I have mentioned above are very, very high paying jobs. Like even at entry level, you could get around $60,000, which roughly about 50 lakh Indian rupees. And it goes beyond your imagination. This news was trending last week where Netflix hired a product manager for 7.4 crore at the annual salary. So AI has a lot of scope. You should define your career. AI is not just being a data scientist or data analyst. It has a very more vast implications than you think. Each and every individual industry has their own needs and their own capabilities where you can enhance your AI skill and become a technical expert in that domain, and you can explore your AI skills there. That is the content I had today. I hope I didn't bore you.
Yeah, participants can put so query. It should be interactive.
Any other, like even if not related to the content that I spoke, if you want to ask any general questions with regards to the career progression, any suggestion you need, how to progress in industry, those questions also I'm open to answer. I specifically chose this film industry because I know most of the people would have an idea about how this industry works.
G, Soumya, Ranjana, Dr. Nitin, Kalpana. If you have any queries, you can put your queries. If necessary, we'll turn on your microphone also. Yeah.
You can connect me.
Yeah.
You can connect with me on my LinkedIn. I have provided my LinkedIn ID.
Sir, one query, some G is talking something, G Patel. Yeah, just see the chat box.
Which skills should one require apart from AI, ML, and IoT? Apart from, like, if you are an expert in AI, ML, I would suggest you to learn about any particular domain of your interest. Learn a skill set there, understand like what is the need there, and focus your try to develop. If you are in college, try to develop projects related to your area of interest where you could implement AI, ML, and IoT. That would help you a lot. What jobs would involve DBMS, AI, ML, data structure skills? All these jobs I mentioned would require all these skills. Any role that you are going related to data will definitely involve all these technologies.
Can you hear me, sir? Yeah. I think some queries, I think you have answered. Any more queries, participants? Any more queries? Okay, I think there is no queries. So, first of all, I'm very much thankful to you, sir, on behalf of IETE Pune chapter, the Boards Engineering Academy, the Civic Center. As you find some time and you have interacted with our participants, and it's a great information you have underlined in front of us. So we are very much thankful to you for your valuable resource to our participants, sir. Once again, I will thank you so much. Over to Krishna.
Yeah,
Krishna, go ahead.
a big thank you to you, sir. It was very insightful session. Your experience and knowledge as a senior project manager has truly been valuable, and it was be very helpful for us. We greatly appreciate your time and expertise, and we are inspired by your contribution to the tech world. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Krishna, and
Yeah.
thank you, Arjun, sir, for providing me this opportunity. It was, yeah, it was nice. Thank you all.
Yeah, Ranjana saying thank you, sir. Yeah.
Thank you, Arjun.
As some 10 minutes time is there, so meantime we'll little revise our languages, sir. Thank you, sir. Just we'll revise little languages which need for further sessions.
Sure.
It's our continue part. So actually a lot of queries are there, sir, when the hands-on sessions, which kind of skills the languages. So last time little bit I have briefed about what kind of languages they need to brush up for further, mostly from third weeks. We have some hands-on sessions further. So the basics and the things we are trying to cover right now.
Right.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you all. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Okay, participants. Right now, just we will interact about the languages. I think feedback also we have received in the previous quiz. And Krishna, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can.
Yeah. So, of course, for some languages are required to understand for our further sessions. So, as I have underlined some of the formal languages like Python, I think now Pratibha ma'am has given something about some little hands-on experiment regarding the machine learning. So basically, the AI, the ML, the IoT, it is some technological set and skills and processes. It's not divided in some particular domain or. So as the programming, as we have seen, I have briefed you earlier in the last class, the Python, the C++, the Java, the Matplot and some other languages, the TensorFlow. I think Pratima ma'am, she has also used. So just I want to know because participants are from some different background. So first of all, those who are expertise or understand C, if you understand C language, then in the chat box, simply you say yes. Do it fast. Do it fast. Some language skill is also required for us. So okay, Julie says yes. Yeah, do it fast. So May saying yes. See, they are aware. Some few do it fast. Okay. Then how many? Yeah. How many are aware about the C++ language? Simply you can say yes. C++ language. Zumi, Soumya, Krishna. Okay. How many are aware of the Java language? Java. Yeah, Jayshree is saying yes. Yeah, very good. Java is also yes. Mansoor Ali says thanks for your great presentation. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. I think you have joined from abroad. Thank you, sir. Yeah. The Java language. Java language, how many are aware? Please say yes. Java language. Okay. Now, yeah, Java language is saying no. The Python language. Yeah, Sohas is saying yes. Jayashree is saying yes. Very good. So, yeah, Ju is also saying yes. The language. So just I will give you one basic the C compiler I will give in the chat box. So you have to open that compiler. Yeah, the C compiler I have given. Just you can just we are not learning. Just we are trying to just fresh up our background of the languages. So C compiler is given. So just open the compiler and write the program of addition of two numbers. C compiler. If you are able to open it, you can say yes. If you have opened, if you are unable to open, you can say no. Yeah, just open the compiler, and those who have opened the compiler, they can say yes, so that we can proceed. I'll give little time. Everyone should open their C compiler on their respective. Yeah, Krishna has opened. Yeah. Anyone else? Those who have opened the C compiler, just open that program in C compiler. Yeah. Yeah, very good. Pratik, yeah, Kalpana. Yeah, just put the, for example, I think addition program, you have already done it, just to see it. Addition of two number. So just you can write the small program of swapping of two numbers and execute the swapping of two numbers program. Just I will give the heading. Swap the swapping of the number. Just write the swapping of two numbers. Yeah. Addition program, everything is aware. So just swap the two numbers with C program. If you are able to swap the two numbers, you can say yes. How many have opened the compiler? Those who have opened, say S. And those who are able to do the swapping of program, if you are able to do it, you can say S. Because further we need, we have to proceed for the Python and our concepts for some implementation. So just write the program for swapping of two number. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, please speak in the chat box. Yeah, Krishna, is it possible to turn on microphones for them?
Yes, sir. Just a minute.
Yeah, please turn on the microphone so that they can interact. As 10 minutes time is there, so you can interact, and we'll try to
You can
see
now
what
interact. I have turned on the camera for you. You can now
yeah.
interact, participants.
No, microphones also turn on, no?
Yes.
Yeah, participants, microphones are turned on.
You can unmute yourself and
Yeah, unmute yourself, and yeah, those who are doing the program, you can say yes. Yeah, Jui is talking something. Those who want to interact with the microphone, they can unmute themselves and they can interact. Yeah, Krishna is saying yes. Yeah, I think their compilers are open and swapping program is also going on. Anyone got the difficulty in performing the swapping of two numbers program with C compiler? Please say no. Anyone is getting difficulty to perform the swapping program in C? You can say difficulty, or unable to do, say no. Unable to do, you can say no. Yeah, Vijaya, no. Unable to do, you can say no. Very good. So that we can proceed. Unable to do swapping program in C compiler. They Kalpana is saying no. Yeah, then we'll say explain. Yeah. Okay. So I will explain you the swapping of two numbers. Yeah. I will share my screen. Everyone has to perform that. I will share. Meantime, I will share my screen. Yeah. Yeah. I think I have opened this. The here I will just see. You see, swapping of two numbers. You see, for example, this is our the processor. As I underlined you last class, the difference between processor and controller. So controller is nothing but the processor with inbuilt peripheral devices. That's the controller. or you can use a processor also. So here we are trying to perform the program for swapping of two number. Means suppose there is a one number 5, there is a another number 4, then in our memory there will be some, this is a one register location or memory location, and there is a one register location or memory location. So suppose this memory location is suppose B register, and this memory location is suppose C register, and there is a one temporary register. So what exactly we are trying to do over here is, you can see, for example, this is a this is a memory or data in one hand, and this is a one memory or data in another hand. So in normal case, we can just swap these two numbers like this. So swapping means the data we have to swap in the memory. So this the data we will yeah, the data we will initially put it at the temporary location, and then we will put it the temporary location, and this data we will swap it here, and then again from the temporary location we can get that data back over here. So like that, that's what the swapping of two numbers, the function we are trying to perform in C programming. First of all, just in order to brush, we are not trying to see in detail, just brushing of our programming, you might be aware. But you see, the initially we'll write the number 5 over here, then we'll write the number 4 over here, and then we can transfer that 5 to the temporary location, and then this B register will be empty, so that this 5 is transferred to the temporary location, so it will be empty. So then we'll transfer this 4 from C to B register. Right now their data will be 4, and then from the temporary register again, this now will be empty. So from the temporary register again, we will swap this 5 data into the C register. That's what the swapping function is, our swapping of these two number. So this is what the program for the swapping of two number. So that is called as some temporary variable. So I think you might have opened your compiler. So just I will put it this program in the compiler, and I will try to explain over here. So here you can see this is a, as usual, you are aware of the C language. The initially we have to define the library declaration. That's what the last explanation I briefed you about, the stdio.h. That's what the header file that is to be defined over here, and that's what the int main parenthesis. And here you can define the variable. So here you can define the first register, you can define the second, we can call as a first, second, and the temporary. So in the C language, I think one is for the inputting and one is for the outputting. So there are two important commands or functions we can call this here. One is a printf function and one is a scanf function. So one is a printf function and one is a scanf function. And with that printf function and scanf function, so here you can see this first number initially we will define, and then we can define the second number. So we will enter the program will say at the input that enter the first number, and then we'll say enter the second number. These two numbers we are trying to inputting it. So here two commands, one is for the first number and one is for the second number. So this is what the printf and scanf, the two commands are over here required over here. Now as I told you, the two locations, this is a one location, another location, and these two locations just we are switching. So the B register, just for example, we are putting the first number at the temporary location, and then the first will be empty. So in the first we will put the second number, and then the second number we will put in the temporary location, and the swapping is over. And after the swapping, the first number will be printed and the second number will be printed, and program will come with the return 0. For example, if you run it here, the first number will say 12 and second number will say 34. And you can see the initially we have entered first number as a 12 and second number as a 34. And after running our program, the first number is swapped and the second number is swapped over here. So it is assumed that everyone has a basic knowledge of the C, because in our AI, ML, and IoT, we need to understand different languages before proceeding the some project work. So in that connection or in that direction here, as of now, we are trying to understand what the I think Zui has said done. Okay, very good. Anyone else? How many have done this program? Please say S. How many has some query? Suhas has done very good. I'm very happy that, yeah, Krishna has done. Yeah, Suhas has done. How many has done? They can say done. Yeah, then again Krishna says yes, they have completed with the compiler. Very good. Next, everyone should complete, either say yes or either say no, so that I can try to help you as time is closing. So anyone has completed further? Yeah, anyone has completed further this program? You can say yes. Those who have completed, they can say yes. Yeah, very good. Pratik has said yes. Yeah, yes. Yeah. Anyone has having any difficulty for executing this or understanding this? It is assumed that, yeah, Jayasri is saying yes. If anyone has some difficulty, they can say their queries over here. I think their microphones are also unmuted. Am I right, Krishna?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, if anyone want to say something, they can unmute yourself and they can speak. It should be interactive. So just I want to know the basic programming knowledge. For the further sessions, we have to go for some programming. So anyone got some difficulty till now, they can say no, or they can rise their difficulty. They can unmute yourself and they can rise their difficulty if they have any difficulty. It is assumed that everyone is aware of the C programming knowledge. Everyone is aware of the what the different operators in the C. Because if you want to learn any language, then first of all, it is necessary to understand the basic C. Yeah. I think it is concluded that everyone is aware of the C programming language. They are able to run the program. So for example, just I will put it here, the program also in the chat box. So that program also I will put it in the WhatsApp also. So you can, those who fail to do that, the program, they can put it there, this program in the compiler. I will also put it in the WhatsApp also. So those who fail to do, they can execute, so that it is just a small test to understand your basic programming knowledge. So this program is also available in the group also. So anyone got any queries till now? They can say their queries. Unmute yourself and they can speak. Yes. So it is expected that everyone should understand the basic C compiler, because the portable compilers for our programming we are not going to use, because it may take time for execution. So we'll try to prefer the compilers which is easily available with the net or browser. Yeah, anyone want to say something? Please say if you have any queries. Yes, Vijaya. Yes, Soumya, Juhi, Suhas, Krishna, Pratik, Jayasri. Yes. Yeah, no queries. Very good. So as of now, we'll close today's session over here. Yeah, no queries. Yeah, very good. No queries. Kalpana, Pratik. Yeah, very good. Very good. So as of now, we'll stop it here. Again, we'll continue. So it's our total 1 month program where we are going to do some project work also. But before that, because our participants are some different backgrounds, so we have to understand what the AI, ML, and IoT, then different compilers will take, and then we'll go for again the programming. So today we'll stop it here then. Over to Krishna.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Kalyankar ma'am, sir, Sham sir, and of course Arjun sir, for your brilliant insights and engaging sessions. We are grateful for our invaluable knowledge you have shared with us today. To all participants, we hope you found today's session as enlightened as we did. As we conclude day 6 of our AIML for IoT workshop, let's carry forward the wisdom gained and continue to explore the fascinating world of AI, ML, and IoT. Don't forget to join tomorrow for more exciting sessions and practical applications.
Yeah.
Until then, keep learning, keep innovating. Thank you.
Yeah, in the chat box, one link is also there, video link. It's live streaming. So our all session will be automatically recorded over there, and those who are having some technical difficulties, they can see that lessons over there or the recordings over there on the channel. Because weekly quiz will be there weekly, so some questions will be there based on the. So those who are missing the session, they can refer there. You can join the channel and you can start accessing the information. If you have any queries, you don't hesitate to put your queries in the WhatsApp number which I have given, or here in the chat box also. If you want to say something, you can unmute yourself and you can say also, no issue. Okay, then we'll stop it here. I think there is no query, so we'll stop it here for today. Okay.
Thank you, participant. You can now leave the meeting.